This is the main news. I'm Vicky Maponga.
My name is Butler Nepure. Welcome. And we also have Susan Masona with us on our sign language desk. These are tonight's top stories.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa reaffirms his commitment to the education sector after participating in a putt-out golf challenge.
Delegates to the COP15 conference applauding Zimbabwe for preserving the Victoria Falls Mosi-oa-Tunya in its natural state.
And in other news, Zimbabwe on track to achieving cattle breeding excellence.
In our sport, we will be looking at the new PSO chairperson, the elections that were held, and it's Simba Bora's Isaiah Mfuruza who takes over the reins. Let's start with tonight's top story.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa has re-emphasized his commitment to the education of Zimbabweans after taking part in a putt-out golf challenge aimed at raising funds for the ED Unza scholarship program.
The sweet sound of the club and the ululation were sounds of victory after President Emmerson Mnangagwa launched the presidential charity golf at Royal Harare Golf Club this Friday. The day started off with a putt-out challenge, and President Emmerson Mnangagwa teamed up with businessman Kudakwasha Tagurei, making a Team ED, taking on a She Mofu team made up of NASA Chief Executive Officer Dr. Charles Shava and She Chongwei of Makomo Engineering. Team ED won by one shot to signal the start of a day that attracted the business community, sports personalities, and non-governmental organizations, among others. The initiative is meant to raise funds for the ED Unza scholarship program, spearheaded by President Mnangagwa to support academically gifted students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Those who parted with the president shared their excitement as well as support for the scholarship program.
It was a very magnificent feeling. It was my first time to get such an experience close to the president. This is the first citizen of the country. Education is very key, and this event is to raise money for where the president started his education, which is in Zambia. And as NASA, we are very much excited to be associated with that, to contribute to the development of this country through education.
I'm happy today, lovely to see president and play the golf, the party with him. So that's very good. Our company is almost 20 years in Zimbabwe. So we're doing the dams, construction dams, and water. I think every year we're doing this donation for the child.
The president also took time to appreciate Scotland Football Club, which was exhibiting at the event, and signed a match ball, which will be auctioned at the ED Unza Scholarship Dinner.
So great to be recognized by the president that we are present. Our students who are underprivileged are getting money to go for school. Brand Scotland is associating with other big brands which are here, of which it is a good thing for us.
It's a great honor, and also as a club, it's a great recognition. You know, we trying by all means to reach out the world the best way we can.
The president also proposed a toast for the golfers and the corporates who came out to support the ED Unza scholarship program. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Harare.
Right, so the putt-out golf challenge being the highlight of what happened this afternoon. The prize-giving ceremony is underway at State House now. Let's cross to our diplomatic correspondent, Josephine Mugio, who's on standby to give us the latest on what is taking place. Good evening, Josephine. What can you tell us?
It's a good evening to you from State House, where a dinner for the ED Unza scholarship program is being held. For more on what this dinner is really about, we are joined by a trustee of the ED Unza, Mrs. Farai Mlochwa. It's a good evening to you, Mrs. Mlochwa.
Good evening, Jessie. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
Just take us through the importance of today's dinner and the aim of the dinner.
Okay, this dinner is a fundraiser. It's actually the prize-giving dinner for the golf day that we had today. Mm-hmm. We have an annual golf day for ED Unza scholarship. Mm-hmm. And the function or the objective of it is to raise funds to give scholarships to underprivileged kids across the country in Zimbabwe, across the 10 provinces. And we also have students coming from Zambia that come to Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwean students going across to Zambia at UNZA University.
Mm-hmm. Just remind us, how did this ED UNZA scholarship begin?
It was founded in 2019, and Archery's desire was to give back to the university that he studied at. He studied law at University of Zambia. Obviously, he's a lawyer by profession, and he wanted to also give children from disadvantaged backgrounds an opportunity to study, and to study at UNZA. Why UNZA? Because obviously he's got that sentimental attachment to that university. That's where he went to. So since then, I think we've helped about 70 students now, and each year we take 10 Zimbabwean students and 5 Zambian students.
Where do you draw your students from?
From across the country, and we get assistance from the Ministry of Higher Tertiary Education, because they would know which schools across the country have got children who are suffering or finding it difficult to pay for their school fees. And when I talk about disadvantage, I'm talking about mostly orphans. And they are in a very dire strait, and without our assistance, they would not be able to continue their education. And of course, we insist that the students achieve certain grades at A level to be talented and be able to achieve the degree. So we also look at the children's ability.
And who's our guest of honor tonight?
Our guest of honor is our patron.
Okay.
Obviously, Archery is the patron and founder of ED UNZA Scholarship Fund.
As a parting shot, projections of the amount you're hoping to raise, any set target?
No, I don't want to set a target. I think we'll just go with the flow. Don't want to push anyone. We've already raised some money from the golf itself. So this evening is just to top up on that, and we do a couple of auctions. But in December, that's when we have our big fundraising dinner, which is the annual ED UNZA fundraising dinner. For tonight, it's more about the golf players and giving out the prizes. Obviously, we've had a fun day at the golf course. Archery played, he did one shot of a drive, it was very good. And also there was a putting challenge, so today is about golf.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Mloshwa.
Thank you.
Mrs. Farai Mloshwa, they're giving us more details on the dinner that is being held here at the State House. It's back to you in the studio.
Fantastic. All right, so that currently taking place, the prize giving ceremony. The ceremony is on at State House. We will continuously update you on what is to get all the latest as it happens.
We move on to our next report. The Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe has called for a speedy amendment of the Radiation Protection Act in order to ensure that the law is holistic in protecting citizens from exposure to radioactive materials. Officials from the authority met Vice President Kembo Mohadi in Harare earlier on today.
A meeting between the Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe, RPAZ, Board and Vice President Kembo Mohadi in Harare this Friday provided a crucial opportunity for discussion on the operations of the authority as well as policy and governance gaps. The authority, whose operations are overseen by Vice President Mohadi, is seeking to have the Radiation Protection Act amended.
We discussed with the Radiation Protection Amendment Act, which is the bill, which we want to make sure that, how the Radiation Protection Authority runs is legally ratified by Parliament, and these are some of the things that talking to him about it, and he assured us that he's going to look into all our challenges at Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe.
According to the authority, amending the Radiation Act is pivotal to transforming their operations.
This is long overdue because there are a lot of issues that will actually make the Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe function better in terms of complement of the board members and in terms of even some of the activities, how the Radiation Protection Authority runs is affected by the bill.
The authority also noted its commitment to strengthening national radiation safety and security. Theophilus Chuma, SADC News, Harare.
The emergency medical scheme has been taken to Harare's Heathcliff suburb, with the community benefiting from free medical services and basic first aid training.
The Presidential Emergency Medical Scheme is aimed at improving access to primary healthcare services and enhancing emergency medical response, particularly for vulnerable communities. Heathcliff community members, who are the latest beneficiaries, hailed the government for empowering them with life-saving skills and free medical services.
Tarapwa mahara, tikasvika pakupuwa ruzivo we first aid.
Tapuwa mapiritsi emakumbo ezvese zvenge zvichirwadza zvese ndapuwa, saka tinotenda president wedu vaMnangagwa.
Tadzidza zvinhu zvakawanda mukati ungachero ukarumwa nenyoka takuziva kuti unofanira kunge uchiita sei. Isati tajara zvedu zvekutodhanza unozvisunga nebhandeji asi nyambisa hazvisiro zvinenge zvichifanga zvichiitika.
Tarapwa taona chiremba pachena, tapiwa mishonga yedu pachena.
ZANU-PF officials highlighted the Second Republic's commitment to improving health delivery, leaving no one and no place behind.
It is part of efforts to ensure that people are empowered to understand the aspects of health and also to understand their well-being. So we are happy.
Munhu ane chido nevanhu hapana sofa pari kusiwa, maambulenzi azara, utano vanhu vari kupuhwa, mishonga vanhu vari kupuhwa, zvakawanda zvatiri kugadzirwa munharaunda dzedu.
The implementing partners pledged continued support.
Our main aim is to equip everybody with the knowledge of first aid so that they are able to know what to do in cases of emergencies, in case at work, on the road, or even at home. And these children must be trained at a tender age.
The program is in line with government's vision of achieving an upper middle income economy by 2030. Festus Mkunguru says ZBC News, Harare.
The Second Republic's drive to revitalize Bulawayo as the country's industrial hub is on course, with industries in the city continuing to benefit from the progressive policies introduced by the government.
As a follow-up to President Emmerson Mnangagwa's visit to Bulawayo Industries earlier this year, officials from the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, led by the Minister Dr. Jenfan Muswere, toured Carousel Edgar Store and the Bakers in plant in Bulawayo this Friday. The tour brought to the fore how the Second Republic's attempts to revitalize Bulawayo as the country's industrial hub is on track, with the manufacturing, baking and textile sectors experiencing enhanced production levels due to the Targeted Finance Facility TFF. Some of the notable gains brought by the availing of credit lines in the textile industry include investment in the latest machinery.
We are on a massive retooling exercise, and starting from about a year and a half ago, we have invested in a lot of machinery that includes fusing machines, the printing press, jet pocket setters, patch pocket setters. Currently, we have a team that is in Italy undergoing training because we want to be able to acquire a cutting room solution which will enhance productivity.
With wheat being a key ingredient in the baking sector, the availability of the product and improved quality has also boosted the sector's economic activity.
There is the issue of improved production of wheat, which is a key ingredient in our production. So now there is sufficient flour. We don't have a stock out of flour. We don't run out of flour. So it helps us keep running.
The Second Republic's commitment to support the country's industrialization is in line with promoting the attainment of the national vision.
This is part of a government's commitment in order to ensure that Vision 2030 becomes a success story. And as part of the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Service mandate, we've been conducting provincial media tours. Today we are in Bulawayo Metropolitan Province, and part of the tour included analyzing the revival of Bulawayo Metropolitan Province as an industrial hub in terms of industrial growth in our country.
The revival of Bulawayo as the heartbeat of the country's industrial activities remains top of the agenda for the Second Republic. Lisa Corrida, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Now, delegates attending the 15th conference of the parties to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands COP15 have commended Zimbabwe for preserving Mosia Tunya Victoria Falls in its natural state.
Senior delegates attending the 15th Conference of the Parties to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, COP15, took a break from negotiations this Friday, the third day of the summit, to visit one of Africa's most iconic natural wonders, the Victoria Falls. The thunderous plunge of the Zambezi River welcomed them as they toured the UNESCO Heritage Site, which is located in a city recognized under the Ramsar Convention as a wetland city. Following their rainforest tour, delegates praised Zimbabwe for its effort in preserving the natural integrity of the falls.
Zimbabwe has done exceptionally well by keeping it as natural as possible. I have noted that even closer to the park, there's no development or encroachment that then would cause pollution or steals the beauty of the area. Environment ministers from Namibia, Chile and Zimbabwe echoed the sentiments.
I was here maybe I would say 20-25 years ago, but if I look at it now, I have high respect for Zimbabwe for keeping this and just up your cases every time. The place looks amazing. It's an experience that you don't want to miss.
I'm very happy to see the opportunity of seeing the enormous variety of wetlands that this world has to offer. Where there is water, there is life.
It's amazing. It's amazing to them because you rarely find such a flows in the world. Indeed. There are very few, and ours is unique. This river runs between two countries. The water comes right from the Congo there, right from the northern Zambia, and from Botswana, and coming down to this place.
As COP15 progresses, more delegates are expected to visit Victoria Falls and other key attractions in the wetland city. The hope is that they will live as ambassadors for this exceptional destination. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
6 liberation movements from Southern Africa are converging in Johannesburg, South Africa, to deliberate on ways of strengthening collaboration and defending gains of the liberation struggle.
The Liberation Movement Summit set for this weekend will be hosted by ANC of South Africa to deliberate and reassert political parties' strength on the continent. Political parties that are set to converge include ZANU-PF of Zimbabwe and PLA of Angola, SWAPO of Namibia, FRELIMO of Mozambique and an ANC, including the CCM of Tanzania.
On Saturday, the 26th, and Sunday, the 27th, we are going to have the real serious discussions capped with the heads of states meeting or the leaders meeting on the 27th. This summit comes at a very important time in the region and in the world because of the various geopolitical developments that we are observing. And it is important that the leaders of the liberation movements take stock of these developments, coordinate their responses, and coordinate the mitigation measures that we may take as a region in order to deal with these current challenges.
President and First Secretary of ZANU-PF, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, will take part in the deliberations that are set to attract other leaders from the continent.
His Excellency the President, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, is going to come himself in underlining and attaching the importance that we have to this discussion, to this coordination, and to exchanging views with his colleagues and counterparts in the region. So there will be discussions led by the Veterans League, by the Youth League, by the Women's League. So the entire structures of the party will be involved. Quite interestingly also, we are going to have others who are coming from outside of the region. So for instance, we do have the Communist Party of China who will be participating. We have the Communist Party of Cuba, which will also be participating, and from Russia as well.
The liberation movements from the Southern Africa have made significant progress in terms of transformation of livelihoods through people-centered policies. At this summit, there are set to be discussed a number of issues that will proffer solutions to the challenges that continue to bedevil the world on the political front. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, Pretoria.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa says the country appreciates the great role being played by the People's Liberation Army of China towards the decolonization of many countries across the globe, including Zimbabwe.
Speech read on his behalf by the commander of the Air Force of Zimbabwe, Air Marshal Jacob John Jede, during the 2025 Chinese National Army Day commemorations in Harare this Friday. President Mnangagwa said the People's Liberation Army is making huge strides towards contributing to international peace and security.
People's Liberation Army has not only grown to become the cornerstone of the massive political and socio-economic transformation of the People's Republic of China, but also made a huge contributions towards the decolonization of many countries, including Zimbabwe.
Speaking during the same occasion, the Chinese ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Zhao Deng, said this year holds profound significance for China as they are commemorating the 80th anniversary of victory in both China's war of resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War.
The 80th anniversary of victory in both China's war of resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. Across 14 grueling years, China waged a heroic struggle against brutal fascist invasion, making pivotal contribution to the ultimate triumph of the World Anti-Fascist War.
The 1st of August marks the revolutionary dawn of the People's Liberation Army, born from the flames of the 1927 Nanshang Uprising. This defining moment forged a military force of the people, an army whose legacy of sacrifice, resilience, and unwavering loyalty has safeguarded China's sovereignty and shaped its destiny for 98 years.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, has paid her condolences to families who lost their loved ones in the Second Road accident that claimed 17 lives.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, visited Zororo Memorial Park in Chitungiza this Friday for the burial of Samantha Taderera and Wish Bainganima, two of the victims of the Second Road accident that claimed lives of 17 people this Tuesday. It was a somber atmosphere as family, friends and other community attended the funeral service to commiserate with the bereaved families could not contain her agony as she mourned the loss of the two promising lives. They were both aged 19. The mother of the nation also took the opportunity to pay condolences to Nyasha Tanganyika, a survivor who lost her husband Renford Jere and 3-year-old child Chantel Jere in the tragic accident. The First Lady also participated in the singing, just like everyone in attendance. Delivering her words of comfort to the families, Dr. Mnangagwa rallied the bereaved to stay united during these trying times and to find comfort in the Lord.
Samai, ndaona ndichibatikana kuti ndinofanirwa kunge ndinemi. Namwe kana yauya pamusha, inobata mhuri, inobata baba namai. Ndauya ndakamirira baba namai mhuri dzose dzakashayikirwa musi wa 22. Kune vamwe ndinoziva vakatofamba vakanoradzikwa, asi ndauya pano ndichitaura naivavo vakatoradzikwa kare. Ndichiti muri pano, vandauya kuzoona vari pano, Mwari ngavakusimbisei. Vakaenda kare, Mwari ngavakusimbisei. Rufu harusi rwomumwe chete, nderwedu tose. Panoshaika munhu semafambiro akaita mhuri iyi yakatisiya, hatina kunge tine gadziriro kana tarisiro, asi tarisiro yatanga tinayo ndeye pasi pano yekuti aenda ari kudzoka. Asi Mwari vanga vakanyora vakati zuva ranhasi iro romusi iwoyo ndichatora ngana pazvanangana nemba yedu. Ngatitendei Mwari kuti makaita henyu, kuziva kwenyu henyu mambo. Tisu anani tingatitonge zuva raMwari? Hatizivi, hatigone, hatione zvemberi. Tokumbira Mwari iko zvino kuti vachitibata mweya yedu nemwoyo yedu. Mashoko oshayikwa mudzimuri ngamungoita shoko rekudanana nokunyaradzana. Achirega kuwana zvokunongedzana apa Mwari vatonga. Tinoda kutenda Mwari kuti Mwari heivo vana venyu chivaregereraiwo zvazuro, vakanganwireiwo muvatonge nerupfave.
Also in attendance was the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Harare Metropolitan Province, Senator Charles Tawengwa.
Kune mhuri dzese dzakashayikirwa nezuro vaviri vakange varadzikwa iye nhasi sezvataurwa taungana pano tiri kuradzika Wishby Nganima uyo aigarira kunyatsime na Samantha Taderera uyo aigara kuZimri Park. Tinochema nemhuri dzese dzakarasikirwa, tinochema nenyika yose, toti kune vari kuchema aiwa tiri pamwe chete tiri tese, toti kune avo votoradzikwa pano mweya yavo ngaizorore murugare.
Family representatives who shared heartfelt tributes also thanked the First Lady for her words of comfort and her motherly love.
Taunganidzwa nechitiko chiri pakati pedu mukati mezuva ranhasi. Chitiko chandinganitaure ndichiti chakapronouncwa kumunhu kubva pamavambo, asi zuva rimwe nerimwe pachinosvika patiri tinodzamirwa nekuti hachijairike. Tinotenda mashoko amatipa amai, tinotenda kunyange kuunganirwa kwakadai, mukunyaradzwa munguva yakaoma yakadai.
Zvakauya zvisingagamuchiriki, kusvika pari zvino hazvisi kugamuchirika, asi tinotenda nerudo rwenyu kuratidza kuti muri kuchema nesu. Naizvozvo tinonzwawo kudziwa zvinodzora marwadzo, shungu dzatinadzo mumwoyo.
Dr. Mnangagwa also laid her wreaths on both Samantha and Wishby's graves. In line with the Zimbabwean customs, Dr. Mnangagwa presented food hampers to the grieving families. The gesture, deeply rooted in African traditional values, was received with heartfelt gratitude. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Chitungwiza.
Now the stage is set for council by-elections to be held in Chikomba, Chiredzi and Marondera tomorrow. Zimbabwe Electoral Commission Deputy Chairperson Ambassador Rodney Kiwa briefed the media today on the eve of the elections.
Real and human resources are in place. Ward election officers, deputy ward election officers, presiding officers, and polling officers for all electoral centers have been recruited and trained. The 3 vacancies where by-elections are taking place tomorrow, that is 26th of July, have 2 candidates each. Please note that Ward 4 of Chiredzi Rural District Council had initially 4 candidates before 2 of those candidates withdrew. So the candidate details are now as follows. Chikomba RDC, Ward 10, we have Muchenje Tawanda, male, who is standing in as an independent. Then we have Mukandi Tafadzwa, male, who is standing in for ZANU-PF. Then Chiredzi RDC, Ward 4, we have Macheke Joseph, male, standing as an independent. And we have Pikelele Austin, male, standing in for ZANU-PF. Then we have Marondera RDC, where we have Tongawashe Fiona, female, standing in for ZANU-PF, and Zianga Richard, male, standing as an independent.
Right, Zimbabwe Electoral Commission Deputy Chairperson there, Ambassador Rodney Kiwa, briefing the media ahead of those by-elections that will be held tomorrow. That is in Chikomba Chiredzi and in Marondera. Live coverage of that as well will be on our social media handles that you can follow. It is ZBC News Online. You can also find us on our website, www.zbcnews.co.zw.
We still have more news still to come after this break, but before we take that break, let's take a look at what you can expect. The country is on track to achieving cattle breeding excellence. We'll look at sport later, where Simba Bora's Isaiah Mupurutsa has been elected new PSL chairperson. Those and more stories coming up after this break. Don't go far. We'll be back shortly.
All parents who have children, young adults, non-school going, who are suffering from drugs and substance abuse and require rehabilitation and reform, please visit the newly established Angel of Hope Drug Rehabilitation Center in Mbare at the Mbare Stodet Arena. Registration is free. Call us now on 0868 800 8586 for assistance.
The adventure begins now. Pack your bags, the mountains are calling, and the heartbeat of Zimbabwean tourism is ready to welcome you at the 2025 Sanganai Hlanganani Kumbanai Tourism Expo. Let each mile steer your soul and every stop ignite new wonder. As we travel eastward, pause and savor the moment. A warm bite and the comforting aroma of homegrown hospitality. You are halfway to magic, where nostalgia meets the promise of the Eastern Highlands. Gear up for the ultimate tourism experience at Sanganai Hlanganani Kumbanai. Unlock the gateway to mystical mountains, crystal clear skies, and breathtaking panoramas, where beauty dances with tranquility, where misty peaks meet emerald valleys, and every sunrise whispers the promise of discovery. From the 10th to the 12th of September 2025, join us at the 18th edition of the Sanganai Hlanganani Kumbanai Tourism Expo at Mutare Sports Club, Kumakomoyo. Experience Africa's premium tourism gems, spark new business synergies, and step into the future of tourism, where deals turn into dreams and trade becomes a journey. Register now and be part of something extraordinary. Email ncb@ztazim.co.zw or call on 263-8677-005-940 or visit www.zimbabwetourism.net/Sanganai. Sanganai Hlanganani Kumbanai. Come, unite, explore, step into the story, experience Zimbabwe. Zimbo.
Britain okoyo akazoti kanganwa kamasika kakuchando muzatakachiya vanhu takatochaya
ungashaya hako simba pamusoro pezvimwe zvinhu asi nesure thing internet connection unosvika panzvimbo.
Life can sometimes seem like it's on pause, each day blending into the next. You're left wondering when the excitement will return, when the adventure will begin. That first sip awakens the wild rivers within, where every moment is an opportunity to explore, discover, to live. Welcome to the world of Zambezi Lager, where the mighty Zambezi flows and greatness abounds. For the Zambezians, it's all about good friends, great moments, and the taste of adventure. Step into the captivating world of Zambezi Lager, where every taste is a journey and every moment shared is filled with the heartfelt pride of Zimbabwe. Zambezi Lager, for those who seek adventure, who cherish the journey, and who know that life's greatest moments are shared.
As Fidelity Gold Refinery, we are your partners for growth. We are driven by a desire to enhance the growth of gold deliveries by small-scale and large-scale miners. We operate under the Mutapa Investment Fund with a mandate to provide a secure and efficient gold trading platform, ensure compliance with national gold trading regulations, support Zimbabwe's economic growth through responsible gold mining. Zimbabwe is on course to meet the target of 40 tons of gold by end of 2025. In 2024, we attained 36.5 tons of gold. We continue to maintain an open channel for continued improvement of our service offering. Fidelity Gold Refinery is committed to be the refinery of choice for all gold producers. We are ready to facilitate the growth of the gold industry. Fidelity Gold Refinery, your trusted gold partner.
Welcome back. You're still watching the main news. Traditional governance structures, particularly traditional leaders, played a pivotal role in the liberation struggle due to their historical position as custodians of land, customs, and societal values. In our Heroes feature tonight, Gay Matambo explores how traditional leaders played that pivotal part in Zimbabwe's liberation war.
During the liberation struggle, traditional leaders were inherently influential as they were seen as the immediate leaders in local governance and were responsible for maintaining peace and resolving disputes within communities. As the inherent legitimacy gave them significant sway, they legitimized the authority of the freedom fighters, integrated them into their communities, and often provided guidance and prophecies through spirit mediums that boosted morale and mobilized support. The Chilonga Battle of 18 April 1976, which claimed the lives of more than 20 people who had gathered for a night vigil known as Pungwe at the then Chief Chilonga's homestead, is a true reflection of how traditional leaders supported the liberation struggle as they leveraged their cultural and spiritual authority to mobilize the rural masses and provide crucial support to the guerrillas.
Hina ivarangeli vemiganga lechingapfuna ngopfu chokusangula ipfunile hivana ekubabala pfuneta hingatekeliwi esava ithela futhi haipfuna vana lava loko vathlela kayivanyiketa exikafu.
After the massacre by the Rhodesian soldiers, the then Chief Chilonga decided to take his own life as he could not bear the pain of losing his subjects whom he had gathered for a meeting with the guerrillas.
Hina leswingaendliwa ni vamamani va hina a va ya va vunghana loko va vunghana va tivisiwa va va ni ku sweka ka va nyika vana va hina va nga yi phungeni ende ni maxaka a nga fa nkarhi wolowo ka fa va fela mutini we hosi.
Some traditional leaders, including village heads, provided food, shelter, and intelligence to liberation fighters, facilitating their movement and operations in rural areas.
Hondo ichirohwa inoi vana vadzoka vachizorwa hondo vaiudza madzimambo kuti tavuya kuzorwa tisu varwere rusununguko tavuya kuzorwa hondo iya yamakatituma. Saka madzimambo ndiro bako ranga riri bako rehondo.
War collaborators under Chief Neromwe Nchiredzi concurred that traditional leaders played a role in recruiting young men and women to join the armed struggle, making use of their influence and traditional networks.
Madzimambo edu ose nyika yose
akasangana misoro akasauruzvi pano pamwe marwire avakaita vanga vasingasiyi murazwa wanhingi vairwira murazwa wanhingi kuti udyiwe nomwana wanhingi saka ndozvakaitisa kuti tihwine nyika.
It goes without saying that the success of Zimbabwe's liberation war was a collective effort, with communities providing the much needed support to fighters in a typical water and fish analogy. Gaima Tambo, ZBC News, Chiredzi.
Concern has been raised over high levels of child abuse and neglect within spaces perceived to be safe for them. Our reporter, Festus Mukunguritse, gives us the next report of a 16-year-old boy who has been abused for the past 3 years in the hands of his father and stepmother.
While the home is supposed to be a safe place for children, for some it has turned out to be a dangerous place to live, as abuse, neglect and wanton maltreatment has become the order of the day. For 16-year-old Tinotenda Romero, a special needs child from Chitungwiza, life took a sudden turn after his father and stepmother decided to starve and lock him in a room for 3 consecutive years, leading to chronic mental and physiological struggles. When this ZBC News crew made Tinotenda visible marks of a 3rd-degree burn on his right arm and backside, alongside a deformed nose, indicates gross negligence and brutality on the part of the supposed caregivers. Tinotenda has now been admitted at a local hospital and is showing signs of recovery from malnutrition, while the father and stepmother are both serving a 20-month jail term for the offense. Neighbors have expressed shock over the level of abuse the boy suffered.
agara zvakanaka azongoshamisika wada kutoona zvinhu mwana uyu hanzi anga atofa chichi saka azotodaidzirwa mapurisa shuwa takabuda tikanoona tione mai mwana zvapira
mbuya vaichengeta vana ava vakashaya mai vevana ava vakatadza kugarisana nababa vacho bva vangoparadzana saka vana vakangosiyiwa nani nababa vacho
mwana edha ndewe murume edha ndewe mwanasikana edha ndewe mwanakomana edha ndeupi mwana anongobatwa sezvakafanana nevamwe vana.
Kana uri mubereki haufanira kusarura kuti nokuti ndazeta munyowani mukadzi saka uyu vana wovarasa nokuti wakarasa vanaka havana kukumbira kuti vaberekweka.
This, however, is not an isolated case, as most child abuse cases go unreported. Research indicates that every year there are an estimated 40,000 homicide deaths among children under 18 years of age, some of which are likely due to child abuse, while 6 in 10 children under the age of 5 regularly suffer physical punishment or psychological violence at the hands of parents and caregivers. Festus Mkongoro says ZBC News, Harare.
Right, let's go to Marilyn Gwenya now, who is on standby with more news from our Montrose studios. Marilyn?
That's a sad story right there, Butler. And still speaking on negligence right here in Bulawayo, several hospitals are grappling with the surge of uncollected stillbirth bodies.
For many expectant mothers, pregnancy is a journey filled with anticipation, dreams of lullabies, and the way to hold a bundle of joy. However, when the unexpected happens, everything changes in an instant. The devastating loss echoes through the hospital corridors as numbers of stillbirth bodies in Bulawayo hospitals increasingly remain unclaimed, placing pressure on the limited mortuary space and health system resources.
The law in this country says that if a baby is born and it's weighing more than 500 grams, that baby is supposed to be buried. We cannot incinerate that body. I think our public also needs to be educated on this. What we incinerate is anything that is less than 500 grams, which we consider a miscarriage in this country. After that, it's now a form of life.
We had about 113 stillbirth, collectively say stillbirth, from January up to June. What we've often realized is that in some cases there are some family disputes. as to what happened, the circumstances surrounding the pregnancy. Then the other reason, it's teenage pregnancies.
The experience of a stillbirth is profoundly traumatic, leaving an indelible marker on the women who endure it.
When women give birth, generally, they go through some mental health challenges, some emotional problems, which is called, in the first 4 days, we call it maternity blues, where they have emotional instability, they have low mood, and they are usually irritable. They are not themselves, but usually it goes away. Afterwards, women can also go through what is called postnatal depression, which can also be a big problem in itself. So we are talking about a woman now who is at risk of those two conditions, who is now losing a child. So they are actually having a double problem now.
Koko Manxube, a respected traditionalist, shed light on the customs surrounding the burial of stillborn babies.
Yayivelithi ngayenzakala mbi yenzakale khona lapha ngaphandle nxa kwenzakale ebusuku kungenzakala kukhanya babehle baphuma abadala bayigubha ke lapha babeka khona bagubhe babeke leyo nto kuyizalukwazi kuphela unina wangikhona engekho uyise wangikhona engekho.
Meanwhile, government through the Department of Social Welfare conducts paupers burials periodically as it moves to relieve the burden on hospital mortuaries. Yolanda Moy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Government has announced plans to reduce the cost of acquiring business licenses and steps to be followed as part of measures to improve the ease of doing business and attract investment.
Officially opening the Masvingo Investment Conference this Friday, the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthuli Ncube, said government remains committed to create a conducive environment for investment, hence revision of business license fees and other ease of doing business measures to be announced soon.
In terms of cost of doing business, we are seized as government with this matter, and we're going to reduce the cost of business. Both the licenses, so watch the space in the next 2 weeks, the cost of licenses will come down.
Government is also establishing special economic zones for all provinces across the country to boost economic growth and attract investment.
Government remains committed to creating a conducive environment for investment, in particular lowering regulatory costs and improve ease of doing business with a focus on value addition and beneficiation, especially in downstream processing of minerals, lithium batteries, for example, steel production, and we should be able to establish special economic zones to support some of these beneficiation initiatives.
Under the investment thrust, government is focusing on value addition of resources and investors' compliance to standards and regulations.
Try to ensure that we are able to add value to the natural resource endowment that we have across the provinces. This is central to transforming our economy from a resource-based economy to value addition, drawing from technology, drawing from innovation, so that we realize a higher value for the outputs that we produce.
Masvingo Province is committed to utilizing its natural resources to ensure sustainable development and improve the community livelihoods.
This conference is a platform for engagement, for innovation, and most importantly, for investment. We are here to present Masvingo as not only open for business, but ready to lead in business. From tourism around the majestic Great Zimbabwe monuments to mining, agriculture, renewable energy, and infrastructure development.
The event also saw government officials touring one of companies in Masvingo Province, Steelmakers, which focuses on the production and distribution of hot rolled steel sections, cast iron and steel castings. A number of companies which attended the conference also took the opportunity to showcase their products. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
The 27th meeting of the Ministerial Committee of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation has ended in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, with calls for continued upholding of values that promote peace within SADC.
In his closing remarks, Chairperson of the Ministerial Committee of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, Ambassador Mahmoud Tabit Kombo said the upholding of values is key in sustainable development and for SADC to realize regional objectives.
I wish to reaffirm our collective responsibility to promote and protect the security of our region and build resilient conflict management institutions and structures for sustainable peace and stability.
Meanwhile, on the sidelines of the ministerial meeting, Zimbabwe's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Professor Amon Murwira, met with his Tanzanian counterpart with discussions on the relations between Harare and Dodoma.
Tanzania and Zimbabwe are the same. We share a lot, not on paper, but in real life, in real experience. We cannot talk about Zimbabwe's liberation without talking about Tanzania. We cannot, if every song in Zimbabwe talks about Morogoro, every song in Zimbabwe talks about Nachingwea. All these things relate back to how Tanzania liberated this region, Zimbabwe included in primarily. And all the speeches of Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere about how he maneuvered militarily and diplomatically to make Zimbabwe a liberated country.
We also discussed about engaging more youth to understand this history, more youth to use the Liberation Center to come here for courses and seminars in order to understand their identity, their history. If we look at other countries who are celebrating 149 years of their freedom and independence, one celebrated on the 4th of July, you see the trend is passing over this knowledge and education to their new generation. Why not us? Why not us Africans as Africans? We have a lot of history to tell.
Zimbabwe and Tanzania share deep cordial ties that date back to the struggle for independence and support by Tanzania in calling for the removal of illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe by Western nations. Olin Ndori, ZBC News.
Pan-African Parliament legislators have called for a unified continental framework to steer the development of artificial intelligence, protect data sovereignty, and promote responsible digital innovation across the continent.
Legislators attending the 5th ordinary session of the 6th Parliament here in Midrand, South Africa, have underscored the urgent need to adopt a continental strategy and framework on artificial intelligence to propel Africa's development agenda. Legislators argued on Africa's commitment to harness artificial intelligence transformative potential while mitigating its associated risks.
As Pan-African Parliament, we must prioritize data protection, establishing clear principles and policies for the collection, storage, and use of African data, ensuring that Africans have control over their own data.
We must ensure algorithms, transparency, and regular bias audits to protect citizens' rights. We must invest in digital infrastructure and AI literacy, as we cannot leapfrog when only 27% of Africans have internet access.
Key discussions also revolved around the development of Africa-centric artificial intelligence regulations, innovation, and ethical considerations.
AI can help accelerate Africa's development. Some statistics on the speed and scale of AI. Just to provide context, AI's global GDP contribution by 2030 is estimated at $15.7 trillion. And Africa's opportunity on making advantage of this, if we act fast, stands at $1.2 trillion. And this is by a report by McKinsey.
This is going to completely change Africa. We're going to be able to be on the map. We'll be able to be the market leaders in artificial intelligence, especially with agriculture, due to the fact that Africa has all the natural resources to be a leader in this world. We've got the best weather, we've got the best soil, we've got lots of labor. There's nothing we can't do to be the market leaders when it comes to agriculture.
The debate on artificial intelligence was held under the theme Building a Continental Framework for Artificial Intelligence, Data Sovereignty and Responsible Digital Innovation. John Nandara, ZBC News, Midrand.
And our main news continues from Pocket Soul Studios in Harare, where Butler is on standby. Butler, it's back to you.
Great. Thanks, Marilyn Gwenya there and the entire team at our Montrose studios. In other news, Zimbabwe is on track to achieving cattle breeding excellence with a Brahman bull fetching $40,000 United States dollars at a cattle auction that was held in Mount Hampden today.
At $38,000, 38, at $38,000, 38, and I'll take $38,500, $40,000. Talk to you, sir.
The unique bull, a Brahman, was bought by a cattle breeder from Gwanda Lingani Masuku after a bidding battle from hundreds of cattle farmers from various parts of the country.
This is our third bull, top bull. We bought one for 22, second 22, and this one goes for 40,000. So, us as fellow Brahmans, we are proud to feature one of the top bulls.
The beauty of this year's National Headbook sale is the huge number of beneficiaries of the land reform program who dominated the event.
Land reform, this is what it has done over the years. You have a good piece of land, you venture into cattle ranching, you venture into cattle breeding, surely you'll be able to make money. This is why we always say, let us get the lessons from the president himself when he talks about empowerment.
This is actually my third Boran bull, and as a woman, it's not an easy turf, but I'm glad I'm actually doing more best.
I've bought one of these bulls behind us. I've also bought two more bulls. So I encourage fellow black farmers to also venture into agriculture, particularly cattle ranching.
Officiating at the auction, Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Davis Marapira, reviewed plans to launch the Presidential Rural Cattle Breeding Scheme to empower the rural folk.
Let's focus on breeding truly for our small communities. We are going to introduce the Presidential Rural Community Beef Animals, where we are going to approach those breeders who breed bulls which will suit our rural communities and our environment according to our natural regions. So the government very soon is going to be a very good market for our breeders.
This year's National Headbook saw farmers showcasing high pedigree bulls of cattle and sheep comprising Boran, Brahman, Simbra and Tuli, among others, as the country targets to increase the national herd from 6 million to 12 million cattle in the next 10 years. 10-time Nengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
It's happening in business. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Enterprise Online's International Payment System. Today, we'll walk through making international payments with pre-booked exchange rates on Enterprise Online. First, log into your Enterprise Online account and navigate to the International Payments section. Select pre-booked exchange rate from your options. This ensures you lock in today's rate regardless of market fluctuations. Next, enter your payment details, recipient information, amount, and currency. The system automatically applies your pre-booked rate. Review all details carefully. Our system highlights any potential issues before submission. Click Confirm and select your authentication method. This extra security step protects your transaction. Done. Your payment is now processing with your pre-booked rate. Track its progress anytime in the transaction history section. Keep business moving. Make effortless international payments with Enterprise Online. Unlock global visibility at COP15. Are you a business looking to showcase your commitment to environmental sustainability? Grab this exclusive opportunity to feature your presence, products, or services at COP15 across ZBC's multimedia platforms. Highlight your leadership in climate action, connect with influential stakeholders, and elevate your brand's reputation on a national stage. Our tailored coverage options ensure your participation reaches millions through TV, digital, and more. Don't miss out on showcasing your dedication to a sustainable future. Partner with us today and make your mark at COP15. Contact Velma now to learn more about our media packages on +263 712 899 514 or email velma.sakala@zbc.co.zw.
Did you know you are now required to obtain a ZBC radio license before you can renew your vehicle insurance and Zinara Motor Vehicle License Disc? Licenses can be purchased from ZBC offices, Zinara offices, and various insurance agents across the country. Did you also know that you can now be exempted only if your vehicle is not equipped with a radio receiver? For that, you will be required to obtain an exemption certificate from the ZBC provincial offices only. Be compliant, stay informed. Purchase your license today to avoid any inconveniences. T's and C's apply.
Did you know? Under the Cyber and Data Protection Act, individuals have the right to file complaints with Porters if they believe their data protection rights have been violated. This message is brought to you by Porters. Visit our website.
Steelmate Investments, your friend in steel, is the leading supplier of high-quality steel and roofing sheets in Zimbabwe. We also supply grating, clear view fencing, Penox plates, puke pipes, checker plates, seamless pipes, and many more products that we have in stock. Visit us today at our Glen Eagles branch, which is at stand number 706 Glen Eagles Road in Harare, or call us on 0787 001 643 up to 6. You can also visit our Affirmative branch at number 346 Affirmative Way in Willowvale, or call 0788 930 556 up to 61. Our Mbare branches are at gate number 8 CSO at Magaba, or you can call that Mbare branch on 0782 408 415. Our other Mbare branch is the Discount Steel branch at number 1 Easterman's Place in Magaba as well, or call 0736 439 999. Steelmate Investments, your friend in steel.
The 2025 tobacco marketing season is now coming to an end, with deliveries expected to hit 350 million kgs.
Deliveries of tobacco to both auction and contract floors have gone down, a move that signals the end of the marketing season. Tobacco industry and market are going down, hence a proposal to close floors on the 7th of August is being considered.
As you know, we on 349 million kilos already. We'll probably hit 350 million, if not today, on Monday or Tuesday next week. But definitely deliveries are getting quiet. They're drying up now. So we think the season will probably end sometime in early August, and then there'll be a cleanup sale later on, maybe 2 weeks after that. We haven't agreed on a final date yet, but certainly we're looking at sometime first week of August.
This year will go down in history as the best season ever, as farmers have so far delivered 349 million kgs for the first time in history of tobacco production. 10 Time Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
All right, that report there from Tendai Munengwa. Our look at business news. When we return, we'll look at sport.
Unlock global visibility at COP15. Are you a business looking to showcase your commitment to environmental sustainability? Grab this exclusive opportunity to feature your presence, products, or services at COP15 across ZBC's multimedia platforms. Highlight your leadership in climate action, connect with influential stakeholders, and elevate your brand's reputation on a national stage. Our tailored coverage options ensure your participation reaches millions through TV, digital, and more. Don't miss out on showcasing your dedication to a sustainable future. Partner with us today and make your mark at COP15. Contact Velma now to learn more about our media packages on +263 712 899 514 or email velma.sakala@zbc.co.zw.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind on it, live the life that you
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Join us at the Midland Show 2025 from 14 to 17 August as we celebrate a century of excellence under the theme Climate Change Resilience, Smart and Sustainable Futures. Show highlights: Thursday, thrilling judging of stakes; Friday, business conference and the exclusive exhibitors reception dinner; Saturday, Freeman HKD lighting up the stage after the official opening and the prize giving ceremony with our esteemed guest of honor, stunning helicopter displays and the dazzling fireworks finale. Sunday, Master X electrifying performance, high energy main outs and Mr. and Miss Midland Show finals. Mark your calendars. Usasare, see you there.
Did you know? The Cyber and Data Protection Act imposes penalties on organizations that fail to report data breaches within the stipulated time frame. This message is brought to you by Potters. Visit our website.
Skip the lines and save time. Download the TM Pick and Pay Click and Collect mobile app now. Register, order, pay your way easily in USD using Visa, MasterCard, SimSwitch Nostro or EcoCash, and pick up when it suits you or your loved ones. TM Pick and Pay. Smarter shopping made simple.
Welcome back. Let's look at sport. Simba Bora chairperson Isaiah Mfurusa has been elected the new Premier Soccer League chairperson, shrugging off competition from 3 other candidates in an election held today.
The Simba Bora chairperson Mfurusa got the mandate to oversee the administration of the Top Flight League after being elected ahead of Dumisani Sisale of FC Platinum, Leonard Msaruri of Ngezi Platinum Stars, and Manika Diamonds Masimba Chihoa. Mfurusa, who assumes the leadership of the Top Flight after the resignation of Raijo in December last year, has vowed to transform local football and make the league competitive.
We know already what people want. We know what are the expectations of the stakeholders. There's nothing new that we are going to be looking at, but we are simply going to be implementing what we promised, implementing what would deliver the expectations of the stakeholders. And what is more important is for us to have unity as PSO.
I'm very excited with what has happened today. It's a new day, and the incoming chairman in his inaugural speech, he made it very clear. I think half of his speech was talking about the way we've done business together. I remember the guy who is coming in, he was the chairperson of the finance committee in the previous board. He used also to sit in my emergence committee. So most of the decisions which we have made, we've made them together. And the beauty about it is the one who was actually making the payments for those decisions to make sure that the dream is achieved.
Islanders Kenneth Mhlope landed the vice chairman's post unopposed, while Dynamos Samos Maunganiz and Oscar Ndure of Ateo 1 were elected emergency committee members. Meanwhile, Women Premier Soccer League elections saw Platinum Royals chairperson Chido Chizondo defeating Kenel Ntogozi Somoyo of Black Rhinos Queens to land the top spot. She takes over from Teresa Maguraushe, who had been holding fort on an interim basis following the establishment of the Normalization Committee. Chizondo will be assisted by Louis Mjara, who was uncontested for the vice chairman's position. The Women's Premier Soccer League elections are coinciding with the league's annual general meeting at the same venue.
Former champions FC Platinum will carry their rich vein of form to Chisumbanje for an away clash against Green Fuel this weekend.
Premier Soccer League action continues this weekend, and all eyes will be on unbeaten former champions FC Platinum, who are out to maintain their record when they visit for a date with the Green Fuel this Saturday. Better known for striking the right chord in the second half of the season, FC Platinum have closed the gap and now trail log leader Simba Bora by 6 points, setting the stage for an interesting home stretch. On the other side, Green Fuel will not be a pushover, as a loss will see them drop into the red zone. Elsewhere, the Platinum Stars host high riding Till 1 at Baobab in another Saturday fixture. Kwekwe United plays ZPC Kariba at Bata as Moors host Rentals at Ngoni Stadium. On Sunday, Capes United welcome Highlanders at Rufaro as Triangle face Bikita Minerals at Gibo. Chicken in Dead Dynamos at Luveve and Manika Diamonds host log leader Simba Bora at Sakova Stadium. The fixture between Scotland and the other set for Rufaro on Monday concludes matchday 23 fixtures. Mtogozi Stube, ZPC News, Bulawayo.
Right. So one other interesting bit will be to see how Dynamos will fare against Chicken Inn, because now, as things stand, Dynamos suspended their coach Socha Minuka. They are alleging that he breached the employment code of conduct, and there was a meeting, an executive meeting that was held on Thursday, in which the team's poor results was under discussion. So he's out, and Dynamos confirming that he will be suspended without a salary and benefits, and he will be barred from visiting the club's facilities. Quite strong there. In other news, the Zimbabwe Archery Developmental Team has made it into the top 3 of the World AGA tournament in Namibia and will fight for a gold medal tomorrow.
It was an action-packed day in Namibia this Friday as the Zimbabwe archery team sought to overcome stiff competition from several countries in pursuit of a better finish at the World AGA tournament. While the senior team could not secure a medal, the developmental side will be fighting for gold this Saturday after making it into the top 3.
So our development team has made it through to the knockout stages tomorrow. So Zimbabwe went through and we has made to the African top 16, ranked number 9.
Andrew Kong emerged as the top archer for Zimbabwe and is now the 9th best archer on the continent. Hence, he will be part of the African Federation team. Hosts Namibia, Canada, South Africa, Botswana, Zambia are the other countries participating.
Well, the main news team is done for tonight, but there's something coming up, Butler.
Yep. I know there's a match that is currently underway in the Women Africa Cup of Nations, and it's Ghana and South Africa, and that is what we'll leave you watching now.
Dynamique de groupe, et surtout pour les jeunes, pour les inculquer dans l'effectif.
Larsen Bonkregen, il fait un travail de mixage harmonieux de jeunes et de moins jeunes dans cette équipe du Ghana qui est remarquable entre la doyenne Portia et